Welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley, and today we are doing a nice, gentle, and heart-opening yoga practice with the theme of focusing on the feeling. If you have a experience, a story that you tell yourself, be it new or old, that you're having a hard time letting go of, moving past, or healing from, this is a great practice to focus on the actual feeling or emotion that is just beneath the story. What is the quality or the energy behind this experience that you are having trouble healing from? Over time, these stories can become just as addictive as a substance somebody might use to numb out from the pain. The storyline is like an overlaying part of the actual energy and quality behind it. And a lot of times we stay hooked on the story so that we don't have to go to the level deeper to really feel and experience what is there beneath the surface. When we lean into the feeling that is beneath these stories, we allow that feeling to be heard, seen, felt, and acknowledged. And then ultimately, that is what allows the feeling to be released and let go, and we can heal more easily from these troublesome situations. And what I love about yoga asana practice is it's a way that we can use our bodies as a vehicle to enter into these deeper realms within ourselves that maybe are really difficult to look at or to acknowledge and to be with. And by moving the body, we're basically moving energy within ourselves so that we can kind of basically sweep away debris that is blocking our ability to go there. Entering the space of our heart is not always the easiest thing to do. And so I ask you throughout this practice and just throughout your life in general to be gentle with yourself as you attempt to go into these deeper, subtler realms within yourself, and allow yourself the space and time, move slowly, gently through this process, because it is a process and we won't always be able to clear it all in one swoop. Sometimes it takes many times, many years, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Feel free to close your eyes or gaze at a point out in front of you, and just take a moment here to use your physical body to move a little deeper inward. Using your breath to move into your physical, noticing how you're feeling in your body today. Using your physical body to move into the mental and emotional spaces within yourself. How are you feeling? And using that aspect of you to move deeper within to your true self, the place inside you that is unwavering, true, solid, pure. Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. And gently open your eyes. We'll begin with some cat and cow. Come up onto your all fours, hands and knees. And then just begin rounding your spine, bringing your tailbone through your legs, chin toward your chest. And on your inhale, reverse the movement. Lift your chin, broaden your sitting bones apart. Lift your heart. And move back and forth between these two shapes with your breath. After a few rounds, you may choose to move more organically, doing hip circles, crazy eights, whatever feels good and appropriate in your body today. Come into a downward facing dog. Lift your knees up. Reach your thighs back. Feel free to keep your knees slightly bent. Otherwise, straighten your legs and maybe take your heels to the floor. You can stay still in your downward dog or wiggle around. Lift your armpits away from the floor as you push your hands down and forward. And then melt just behind your heart and your upper back toward the floor as you pull your ribs toward your spine. Maybe shake your head, yes or no. Loosen up any tension you may be holding there. Lower your knees to the floor. Keeping your knees under your hips, walk your hands a little further forward. Lift your armpits up as you melt your heart toward the floor. And if you need to, slide your knees a little further back so your head does come down. You can keep your arms straight for a more active version of melting heart, or take your forearms down to the floor and turn your hands, fingers slightly out. And just hold here for several breaths, allowing your heart to melt toward the floor. Slowly lift your head off the floor. Walk your hands back toward your knees. Take your knees a little wider than your hips and your big toes together. Reach your bottom back toward your heels. Then crawl your arms as far forward as they will go. Melt your heart toward the floor as you lift your armpits up, and then drop your forehead and the tip of your nose to the floor. Maybe crawl your fingers a little more forward. Then push your hands down and forward to root your hips back even further. Come back to all fours, hands and knees. And then pull yourself forward, keeping your knees on the floor, doing kind of a semi-chaturanga, pointing your elbows back and lower all the way down to your belly. Cobra, low cobra, pushing your hips down, pull your shoulders back, and just lift your sternum up. Pull your elbows gently towards your rib cage. If you'd like to, you can walk your hands a little further back. Make your pinky toes a little heavier so your heels point straight up. And push the tops of your feet into the floor. Maybe even curl your toes under and push your heels back, knees off the floor for a more intense sensation. And then lower your head. Push your hands and knees down to come back to all fours. Then back into downward dog. Come onto your outer right foot.
and your inner left foot. So your heels point to your right, toes point to your left. Then root through your inner and outer edges of your feet so your feet go flat to the floor for sideways dog. Keep your hips high and lengthen from your hips to your armpits. Come back through center to flip to the other side, outer left foot, inner right foot, plant your feet flat, lengthen from your hips to your armpits, melting your heart toward the floor. Come back to center. Take your knees to the floor. Pull yourself all the way back down to the floor. Keeping your right hand where it is, take your left arm to the left palm flat, and then roll onto your left side. Scoot your hips a little to the right side of your mat and lift your right leg up as you bend your knee and step your foot to the floor behind you. If that's too much, just stack your legs. Feel free to drop your head either to your right fist or your head to the floor. If you're not using your right hand as a pillow, you can take your right arm straight up, point your palm back, bend your elbow, and wrap your arm behind your back. And just hold and breathe here. Reach your right arm back up. Lower your right hand to the floor and roll back to your belly. Switch your arms. So your right arm goes to the right, palm flat, left hand next to your ribs. Roll onto your right side. Scoot your hips forward. Maybe lift your left leg, bend your knee, and place your foot to the floor behind you. Feel free to take your ear to the floor or to your left hand. Otherwise, take your left arm up, point your palm back, bend your elbow, and reach toward the floor. Take your left arm up, lower your hand to the floor, untwist, come back to your belly. Sphinx pose, make yourself even on the floor, wiggling around a little bit. And then take your elbows underneath your shoulders, palms flat. Wiggle your hips around a little bit. Push the tops of your feet down or curl your toes under, knees up. And then lengthen from your pubic bone to your chin as you pull your throat back, shoulders back, and look up toward the ceiling. You can keep your head lifted, but now turn your eyes down to your nose for the classical gaze. Grounding yet uplifting in energy.
Slowly lower back down.
Use your hands to push yourself up to all fours. Take your knees a little wider than your hips and your toes together for revolved child's pose. And reach your right arm all the way up. Swing your right arm under your left arm. Bring your shoulder and ear to the floor. Feel free to keep your left hand where it is, or walk your left fingers forward and to your right. Pull with your right hand as you push with your left. Then press your left hip gently back so your hips are more square. Right behind your heart, squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other. Take slow, deep breaths. Walk your left hand back. Push down through your left arm to reach your right arm all the way back up. And lower your right hand back to the floor. Take your left arm up. And then take your left shoulder and ear to the floor. Feel free to walk your right hand forward and to the left. Square your hips. Tack your right hip back. Squeeze between your shoulder blades. Walk your right hand back. Push down to reach your left arm all the way up. And then lower your hand to the floor. Bring your knees together and then step your right foot outside your right hand. Coming into a low lunge. Sink your hips toward the floor. Maybe walk your hands a little forward. And for this one, we're lifting through our heart, forward and up, as you pull your shoulders gently back. Feel free to sit a little deeper if you'd like. Maybe wiggle your hips side to side. Walk your hands back. And then just allow your right leg to straighten as you lift your right toes off the floor. Just a variation of half Hanuman with your arms inside your leg, also known as a runner stretch. And then shift forward again, placing your right foot flat. Turn your right toes out for twisted monkey. Walk your left hand forward into the left fingers out. Push through your left arm and take your right hand to your right thigh as you twist to the right. You can stay here and just lift your heart up and curl back into a back bend shape, or lift your right arm up, bend your back knee, grab your foot, push your outer foot into your right hand so your heel lines up with your outer hip, and pull heel and hip toward each other. Then pull your shoulders back, lift through your sternum, and curl back.
Lower your foot.
Come back to all fours. Step your right knee next to your left knee. And then step your left foot outside your left hand. Walk your foot a little more forward. Drop your hips toward the floor. Lift through your sternum. And walk your hands a little more forward. Again, feel free to be still or swing your hips a little side to side. Shift your hips back into the runner stretch. Lift your left toes, slide your hands back. Keep lengthening through your torso, through your heart. Twisted monkey. Lower your left foot back to the floor, shift forward. Turn your toes out, right hand forward and to the right. Twist to the left. Again, you can lift your left arm or hand to thigh. Do that back bend shape. Or reach back, grab your foot. Pull your heel to the right into your left hand. Pull heel toward your hip. Keep twisting. Lift through your sternum. Pull your shoulders back and curl all the way back. Lower your foot. Come back to all fours. And then back into child's pose. For this one, take your arms by your legs, palms point up, resting your shoulders on your knees. Drop your head to the floor and relax your shoulders. Your heart is actually closer to the back of your body. So child's pose, you can imagine you're entering into your heart through the back door, softening right in between your shoulder blades, letting go of anything you feel and experience there that is no longer serving you in your life today. Take your hands by your shoulders, move your shoulders back and lift your head up. And swing your legs out in front of you. Take your left knee to your left for Janu Shavasana. Feel free to take it 90 degrees or a little wider. Make sure your sitting bones are even as you turn towards your right leg, turning toward the floor and fold. Feel free to grab your shin, ankle, or your foot with one or both of your hands. Pull your rib cage forward and up towards your foot, and then round your spine over your leg.
Breathing slow, deep, even breaths. Next inhale, lengthen your spine and sit up. Keep your legs as they are. Twist to the left, right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Stay long and tall through your spine, lifting through your heart. Take your left arm up and start to lean to your right, keeping your right toes pointing up. Feel free to take your right hand or forearm to the floor inside your leg. You may even be able to go all the way side to thigh. Wherever you are, make sure you're sideways, lifting your heart towards your front foot. Maybe turning your gaze past your elbow or even up to your hand. Stargazer pose. Slowly come back up. Take your left hand behind you with your fingers pointing toward the back of your mat. Take your inner right foot down, push through your legs, lift your hips up and forward as you reach your right arm up and back. Reach your heart through all the way back behind you. Breathe. Slowly lower your hips, swing your right arm forward, and lower all the way down, taking your left leg straight. Take your right knee to the right. And then make sure your sitting bones feel even. Turn to face your left leg, fold forward, torso facing the floor. Remember, lift your ribs up and forward, then round your spine, forehead toward your knee. Grabbing foot, shin, or ankle with both hands or one. Next inhale, lengthen your spine, sit up. Turn to face your right knee, twist. Lift through your heart, shoulders back. Reach your right arm up and start to lean to your left, being sideways and lifting up through your heart. Maybe left hand or forearm to the floor, or go all the way side to thigh. Reach through your fingertips. Maybe lift your gaze upward. Breathe. Stargazer, slowly come back up. Right hand behind you. Inner left foot down, push through your legs, lift your hips, and curl back. Reaching through your heart, out through your fingertips.
Slowly swing your hand forward, hips down, and take your right leg forward. Scoot yourself a little more forward so your feet go all the way up to the end of your mat. Take your hands right behind your bottom and then start to bend your elbows, lifting through your heart, slowly taking your forearms down to the floor. Push down through your forearms, down through your hips and feet, and then use that to lift your chest up. Pull your shoulders back. Try not to crunch your head back, but rather lengthen your neck back and down, keeping the back of your neck long, looking back. Maybe close your eyes. Lower your heart, lift your head, then use your hands to push yourself back up. Come into all the way on your sitting bones. Bend your knees, and then slide your right foot under your left leg, heel outside your left hip, and your left heel outside your right knee. Inside is fine if outside is too far. Then sit up tall, making sure your sitting bones feel even. Start with taking your right elbow around your left knee, pulling right shoulder back, interlace fingers by your left thigh, and then pull your hands toward your chest. Pull your left arm back and start to twist your torso to the left. You can stay in this variation or take your left hand to the floor behind you with your arm straight and inhale your right arm up. As you exhale, take armpit outside your thigh. Unround your upper back. Lift your chest up toward your chin and your chin slightly lifting away from your heart. Maybe gaze beyond your left shoulder and keep your right palm straight so your fingers are either together or apart, but active. And gently untwist. Take your legs out straight, Dandasana. Bend your knees. Left heel outside right hip, right heel inside or outside left knee. Lift and lower your hips. Take left elbow around your right knee. Hook your fingers. Lift through your heart. Pull your palms toward your chest. Pull your shoulders back as you twist to the right. Stay here or right hand behind you. Inhale your left arm up. And exhale, twist. Armpit outside your thigh. Unround your upper back. Pull your shoulders back. Lift through your heart. Activate your left palm and gaze to the right. Untwist. Take your legs straight out in front of you. Paschimottanasana. Make sure your sitting bones feel even underneath you, feet either hip distance or together. You can bend your knees, ribs to thighs, or straighten your legs, ribs to thighs. Before you round, pull your rib cage up towards your feet. Then round your spine over your legs, reaching heart first, head last, toward your legs. Once you're down, squeeze your elbows in, shoulders back. Again, melting between your shoulder blades toward your thighs. Next inhale, lengthen your spine.
Slowly sit up. Scoot your bottom forward to lie all the way down. Take your feet about as wide as your mat and your arms out to the sides like cactus arms. And then just let your knees go back and forth, side to side, windshield wipers, rolling across your hips. From inside your legs, grab outside your feet, happy baby. Push your feet into your hands and pull your hands down into your feet. Gently rock side to side if you'd like, allowing your lower back to round a little off the floor. You can play with bending and straightening one leg at a time, or you can straighten both legs at the same time. Slide your hands down to the tops of your ankles and pull your heels toward your hips, keeping your feet apart. Let your knees open as wide as they like and relax your legs, only holding your legs up with your hands. Allow your upper shoulders to relax while your legs pull gently on your arms. Supta Baddha Konasana variation. Use your arms to pull your legs back in. Wrap your arms around your legs. Then place your feet outer hip distance. Let your knees come together. Take one hand on your belly and your other hand on your heart. Before moving into Shavasana, you can ask yourself a few questions and then let them go into the subconscious, such as, what is a story I tell myself that no longer serves me? What is the feeling that lies just beneath the surface of this story? And what can I do to help myself be free of this feeling that has such a tight grip on my heart? And whenever you're ready, come all the way into Shavasana to rest.
Take a full breath in. Exhale completely. Bring gentle movements back into your body. Gently and mindfully bend your knees. Roll to your side. And slowly press yourself back up to a comfortable seat.
Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.